Tekken 2010 movie synopsis by Zillur Movies recapped. Jin Kazama has been raised by his mom, Jun. She has educated him in martial arts and has been a mentor, but she by no means speaks of Jin's father, claiming he's useless. In 2039, Jin is now a rebellious 19-year-old teenage fighter and contraband runner who lives within the Anvil, and often goes into fights and cooperates with the resistance teams to earn cash to supply meals. Fruit, espresso and chocolate have turned out to be costly and uncommon commodities within the Anvil. One evening, Jin is focused by the Jackhammers, the elite specs group that patrols the Anvil and ensures the protection of Tekken Metropolis, for cooperating with the resistance teams. He tries to return to his house, solely to search out his mom, Jun, killed by the Jackhammers bombarding the home. Grieving the lack of his mom and feeling responsible that he had not protected her, Jin swears revenge towards Heihachi. Within the ruins of his former house, he finds a Tekken fighter ID belonging to Jun, revealing she was as soon as an Iron Fist fighter. Livid about this, he decides to check out on the open name, which lets the Anvil decide a fighter for the match. After defeating the disgraced Martial Regulation, who was dropped out of the event and compelled to combat within the open name, Jin is sponsored by former boxer Steve Fox, sponsor of the open name and former Iron Fist fighter, and is hailed, the Fox's alternative, who takes him to Tekken Metropolis. Upon coming into Tekken Metropolis, Jin befriends combined martial artist Christy Montero. After witnessing Raven overpower capoeira fighter Eddie Gordo within the first match, Jin wins the match towards Miguel Caballero Rojo, practically killing him in a match of rage. Heihachi's son, Kazuya Mishima, is impressed and provides Jin a spot in Tekken Corp. However, Jin refuses. Kazuya is interested by Jin's preventing fashion. Later that evening, after sneaking out with Christy and visiting a nightclub, Jin is attacked by masked assassins, on the orders of Kazuya, who's scheming to take over Tekken and sees Jin as a doable impediment since he's hailing as Fox's alternative. Jin survives the assassination try, because of Christy's interference. Steve and Christy try and discourage Jin from persevering within the match. However, Jin vows to win Iron Fist and kill each Heihachi and Kazuya, and he provides Fox Jun's ID. He realizes he's her son, telling him that he knew her. In the meantime, Kazuya blackmails the match's champion, Brian Fury, into killing Jin in a match or be uncovered as a partial cyborg, banning him from the match for all times. Cyborgs are banned from preventing. Through the quarterfinals, Christy is paired with Nina Williams. However, earlier than the combat, Jin notices Nina's face. She was one of many assassins. After Christy defeats Nina, Jin is matched up with an elite swordsman named Yoshimitsu. Heihachi, liking this younger fighter, deems that this match be reserved for the semifinals and makes an attempt to alter the order. However, Kazuya, who controls the Jackhammers, stops him. Kazuya then has Heihachi imprisoned and orders the match to start, successfully seizing management of Tekken. Jin narrowly defeats Yoshimitsu, because of Heihachi tripping a safety alert within the environment. Following the match, Kazuya orders the entire fighters to be detained. He tells them that the principles have modified, and they also should now combat to the loss of life. Jin, Christy, and Steve attempt to escape, together with Raven, leaving Nina and Anna Williams and Sergei Dragunov behind, since they had been in a separate cell. Kazuya notices them escaping and brings down some guards, inflicting a firefight. Steve, Christy, and Raven cowl Jin, however he walks throughout Heihachi's cell. Indignant, he tries to taunt him, saying he's liable for killing his mom. Nevertheless, as a result of Heihachi as their solely PR ability of escaping Tekken, Steve frees Heihachi and joins the group. On the gunfight, Raven is wounded and recaptured, whereas the others make it out to the Anvil. Within the warehouse that Jin makes use of as safety, Heihachi reveals to Jin the true nature of his origin. 20 years in the past, Jun was preventing within the first Iron Fist match positioned by the Tekken company after the struggle, and he or she impressed Kazuya, who raped her, making him Jin's father, and left her for useless. She survived the assault and Heihachi took her out of Tekken Metropolis to the Anvil to maintain her alive. Heihachi additionally tells Jin that since he's Heihachi's grandson, he might turn out to be the following chairman. He additionally states the company's true objective is to revive order to the world, although Jin cannot consider what he's being instructed, believing that the company is spreading terror and worry to its residents. Heihachi entrusts Jin with the duty of defeating Kazuya. Afterward, the group is situated by jackhammers, who kill Steve Fox in a firefight and recapture the remainder of the escapees. Earlier than taking them again to Iron Fist, Kazuya orders the jackhammers to execute Heihachi. Again in Tekken Metropolis, Raven comforts a dispirited Jin, saying that he noticed what Jin did to Miguel Rojo and reminding him that anger does not gas the soul, however incinerates it. Raven tells Jin that as a result of there are a lot of individuals relying on him, he can turn out to be champion without letting anger take management of his physique. Within the finals, Jin is pressured to combat towards Brian Fury, who had already killed Sergei Dragunov in a loss-of-life match, whereas Kazuya holds Christie within the management room. At first he's outmatched, however remembering his mom's teachings, Jin kills Brian. Angered about Jin's victory, Kazuya enters the match himself, armed with half-moon axes, and begins the ultimate match. The weaponless Jin is battered and is about to lose. He's saved, although, when Christie escapes by taking pictures the jackhammers guarding her, making a distraction. This enables Jin to wound and pin Kazuya, who baits Jin by claiming that he remembers how Jun put up fairly a combat. Kazuya taunts him into inheriting the Mishima curse. Heihachi imprisoned and killed his father and Kazuya presumably murdered Heihachi. However, Jin refuses to kill his father, stating that it's not his curse. Christie involves the stage and declares Jin the brand new champion of Tekken. Elated, the gang each in and out of doors the world cheer for him. When Christie asks the place he'll go, he replies that he'll go house to the anvil, since he does not need to run the company. He walks out of Tekken Metropolis's gate and is saluted by the jackhammers, symbolizing his new function as CEO of Tekken Corp. In a voiceover, Christie explains that Jin's victory made the Kazama household title synonymous with hope within the anvil, however that the true legacy of Tekken is barely starting. After the credit, the scene shifts to Kazuya, who walks out of the world and realizes that he misplaced management of the jackhammers, who refuse to salute him. Again at Heihachi's execution, he kneels in entrance of a jackhammer, who's holding him at gunpoint. His closing phrases are, "I'm Heihachi Mishima. I am Tekken. You'll obey." The jackhammer lowers down his gun and obeys his command. Tekken is a 2009 American martial arts movie directed by Dwight H. Little and distributed by Warner Brothers and Anchor Bay Leisure. It was written by Alan B. McElroy and is loosely primarily based on the Preventing Recreation sequence of the identical title, with plot components borrowed from the primary 3 Tekken video games. Its story follows Jin Kazama in his makes an attempt to enter the Iron Fist event with the intention to avenge the lack of his mom, Jun Kazama, by confronting his father, Kazuya Mishima, and his grandfather, Heihachi Mishima, the latter of whom he thought was liable for her loss of life. It stars John Fu, Kelly Overton, Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa, Ian Anthony Dale, Kung La, Darren DeWitt Henson, Luke Goss, Marian Zapico, Lateef Crowder, Candice Hillebrand, Anton Kasabov, and Roger Huerta. The movie was produced by Crystal Sky Footage and premiered on November 5, 2009 on the AFI Movie Pageant and was launched in Japan on March 20, 2010. It grossed $1.7 million worldwide. Tekken spawned the 2014 prequel Tekken 2, Kazuya's Revenge.